we could go real deep into the mental health space if we wanted to.
Debuting for Australia. Is that pinch yourself stuff?
Like, I've had that little taste of it now, and I'm like, I want to get back there.
That's the impression I've always got of JL. Yeah, hard, tough, high standards, but
looking back at the last couple of years, I haven't been physically probably fit enough.
the next 12 months, what's it look like for you?
Test cricket, mate. Test cricket.
Okay, BackChat powered by Paywise. We are very fortunate to have this man in studio. He's done lots of things in the cricketing realm, but we're going to start with something not in cricket. But we are very happy to have him. Jhye Richardson joins us. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate.
How you going?
Good.
Thanks for coming in. Look, I can only assume you're a massive BackChat fan. Just in case you're not, the first question we start with is the same question for every guest we have in the chair. About 200 people sat before you right now. We know, look, we're big fans of the way you bowl a ball.
Absolutely.
Fast, hard, steaming in, right? You've even started to be I think your batting has just gone from strength to strength. You've played for your country, right? There's not much you haven't done in the cricketing realm. We will get to that. What I want to know is your greatest sporting achievement not on the cricket pitch, thanks to TABtouch this year. Look, many of us have played sport at high levels. Yeah, Dan, I mean, there's a couple of Australians.
A couple of Australian representatives. We've actually caught up at the alumni dinners and stuff like that.
You always have one of those?
Yeah, we all get together, so it's a bit of fun.
Right.
Fistball. I played cricket, 5-16 in under-12s grand final.
I have heard about that. We'll touch on that.
We've done the round.
We'll touch on that later.
I was an under-9 state 80-metre hurdle champion. I was also a beach flag champion under 9s as well. It's pretty good under 9s.
It's a good year for you.
Yeah. What about you? What can you do other than cricket? What you can go back to childhood. What else can you play? I will even give you I'll give you an out. I'll even give you esports because I feel like that's very much in the realm of sports.
We have touched on this before.
Okay, I know we have
touched on esports before.
I know. I'm just okay.
I reckon you asked me this last time when we were at Scorchers game.
Okay.
And I reckon I said it was esports.
I reckon I might have had a couple of beers. So I might have forgotten.
I'm pretty sure we talked about Rocket League.
Yeah, we talked about Rocket League. I subbed in for
That's right.
That's
right. Give us another one.
I kind of own the organisation, so it's a bit biased that I subbed in, but it's fine. Like that's whatever. But there's a photo on my social media of me in school footy.
Brilliant.
Like taking an absolute specky.
Really?
No one knows I dropped it. Because the photo, I swear the photo it's legit. Like it's good.
Have you put it
up?
up?
I'm up there. I'm pretty sure it's still up there actually.
Great.
But I dropped it. But it's a cool photo.
Good photo.
Playing for?
Manuel Catholic College.
Oh, that sounds fancy. So you're from down Rocco Mandra way?
Not that far. Like Coburn way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about growing up here in Western Australia.
Grew up with mum and dad, stable family, which was good. Lived on 5 acres in Wandie. So grew up in the bush. Not really it was bush back then, but now it's pretty built up now.
Yeah.
Like what every child wishes for when they're growing up: scrape the knees, out till dark, building dirt jumps, kick the footy, backyard cricket, swimming in the pool. Like awesome childhood.
The dream.
Yeah, so good. And then, I think that's where sport started. Like we had the room at home to play whatever sport we wanted. So it was just running around, and video games for me weren't as much of a thing back then. I was actually a kid that touched grass. So
Siblings?
Yeah, older brother, older sister.
Yeah.
Older brother, very competitive.
Is that right?
Very competitive.
So you're the youngest?
Youngest, yeah. Really competitive.
So are you just as competitive?
I am, yeah. Yeah, but he got to the point so this is a bit off topic here. But
brilliant.
He won't mind me saying this because we come back to this all the time. Like we were big WWE fans, massive.
Great.
And
SmackDown era, Raw era.
Great. Like I'm talking like the niche wrestlers like Goldust.
Goldust is such
Takiri, or Tajiri, or whatever his name was, like Big Show, Triple H, like all those guys. Shawn Michaels. Yeah. And Shawn Michaels, Sweet Chin Music, I will never forget the day. This is going back on the competitive side. Like we were wrestling in the backyard as siblings do. And my brothers walked up and given me the biggest Sweet Chin Music connection, like proper connection, blood nose flying everywhere. That's how competitive it got. It was real. It was real wrestling.
Like the build up to the
like our wrestling was more real than the wrestling. It was Yeah, it was really competitive, but awesome. Like growing up was, couldn't have asked for much more.
It's funny, like younger siblings, when we have the youngest, I almost always like, the most competitive. Like, do you look back at growing up and thinking, like, that's kind of where it starts?
100%.
Trying to beat your brother and your sister and trying to be better than them.
100%.
You're always actually a rung down.
Yep.
You're smaller. You're always scrapping.
I was tiny when I was growing up as well, like really small.
Right.
So it wasn't easy.
Did you play, like, what's the age difference? Did you play sport with them?
No, not with. What is it? It's like 4 years or 5 years or something.
Yeah. And was cricket, like, were you always a big cricketer?
I was.
Other than taking hangers.
Cricket happened really quickly, actually. Like, I played it was Have a Go back then. It's like the Milo Blast now.
Yeah.
And I played that. Didn't enjoy it because I think I was too competitive. Like, it was a bit too casual for me. Took a year off, and then when I was old enough to play competitive cricket, that's when I started playing competitive cricket. And then everything happened really quickly. Like, kept going up the grades and just happened super quick. So I would say footy was my first choice as a young fella, and then like pretty quickly switched over.
What were you, like, forward, mid, back,
forward pocket, midfield rotation,
goal kicking, like pressure sort of player, or are we talking
off the ball?
Just like a really outside, holding balance, stay away from the players.
Like I'm the get the shank out of the pack kind of guy. Like I was never at the bottom of the pack.
Mate, I would say, like, that's turned into a very important player in today's game. Yeah, you got outside balance. You make sure you don't let the other players out.
When I was watching footy and playing footy, like you were scared. Like that's the player you were. You were the scaredy cat. It wasn't this outside player that like picks off handball or something and creates space. It was like you were too scared to be on the ball. And I was like,
quick.
I was quick, yeah. Back when I was like 50 kilos.
Yeah, great.
So what were you doing on the cricket pitch? If you were a smaller guy, usually not the fastest bowlers, were you more a batter or how were you operating?
I was always fast bowler.
Really?
Yeah, always.
Just in the shoulders?
Don't know. I get asked that question so much. How do you bowl fast? I don't know. Like I think there's something that's really hard to teach, and that's like having a brace front leg. And I just, from when I was growing up, like I think it's just partly natural. And I'm not trying to blow wind up my own ass, but
can you explain that? Because I don't know what that means. Like,
so brace front leg, like obviously when you're about to bowl the ball, like if you're braced, then you've obviously got more force going through your leg.
Like locked?
Locked.
Right.
Than if it was unlocked. Just, brace front leg creates a bit more lag, et cetera, biomechanics.
Yeah. Physics.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting.
All I know is that it works.
Because you're not the tallest fast bowler, are you?
No.
So you think it's technique. I just saw, we had Aaron Hardy in here a little while ago and speaking to him about whether it's sort of nature or nurture in terms of cricketing ability. Like, are you born with it? Is it something you just have to, were you just coming in off the long run for 15 years as a kid? And it sounds like you were.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're doing it for a long time.
It sounds so bad, but I genuinely like just been bowling for as long as I can remember. I was lucky in that I never really had any big interventions when I was younger, like with bowling actions or anything like that. It was sort of tinkering, which was good. But I think like if you ask Lance Morris, for example, who also bowls really fast,
yes,
go, mate, how do you bowl fast? I guarantee you'd be like, oh, mate, I don't know.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, just run in and do it.
It's like kicking long in footy. It's like, you're going to go up to Shannon Hearn and say, mate, how do you kick
I don't
long?
think anyone really understands the biomechanics of, well, people would, but people who are naturally good at kicking the footy long.
Can it be taught?
Yeah.
Not to that extent.
They're probably going, well, I don't know, mate. Like, I just have always kicked the ball a long way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why or how, just...
Yeah, same with like shooters in basketball. Just some of them just have the perfect technique and they weren't really taught it. Just
a bit like fistball. Like you're probably just naturally good at fistball.
That is right. Yeah. You can't teach fists.
No. At 33 years old to discover the sport and naturally just sort of take it on. It's
I mean, how many games before you played for Australia? Like 4?
4.
That's special stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many games did it take you to play for Australia?
I think I played 6 or 7 first class games before I played for Australia.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, but think about all the junior cricket.
Yeah.
Hundreds of games.
Yeah, hundreds of games.
what's the pathway to cricket is, I think, a little different to most sports. Like, maybe there's academies and stuff I don't know about, but it feels like you guys sort of get into the first grade cricket and they identify and they start, then you kind of play state cricket and then you're playing. Is that how you see it, or is there a lot of different academies and squads you got to go through to kind of get to higher ranks?
There is academy squads, and that's sort of recognised from first grade cricket.
Right.
And then, the other part of that, which has been introduced again a lot this year and getting more of an emphasis, is second 11 cricket for our state team, so WA second 11. But yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Like for me personally, I was like 17s. I played 2 years of 17s. Then went up to third grade, second grade, first grade. Had 1 year in the academy squad, and then debuted the next year and got contract. So it was sort of just a build up, like that. So there are academy squads and stuff like that. They train. I think they train like 6 o'clock in the morning or something silly like that. Because a lot of them have jobs and stuff. They're obviously not contracted, so they've got work to go to, but they're putting in the hard yards at 6 in the morning to try and get a spot. So yeah, there is stuff like that. We're very fortunate in WA. Like our program's really, really good and really solid. But yeah, there's plenty happening behind the scenes.
Do you have to be at certain local clubs in order to get that sort of beginning pathway? If someone, like for me, I was playing at Chewett Hill Cricket Club, did I ever have a chance of, do the guys who just play in those local clubs as youngsters ever get that opportunity? Or do you have to like position yourself on the path?
I think positioning yourself does help. Like I think Premier Cricket is definitely the way to go with that. That's the one that's directly linked to West Australian cricket. But there obviously have been times where players have been identified, like Lance's from down south, Marley Beardman's from down south, like a few guys who have been identified outside of the realm of Premier Cricket. But mostly it's, guys going up through second grade, first grade. And our talent identifiers, like they're quite good at catching guys pretty young now.
What was your attitude as a young cricketer starting to play against men, adults for the first time? Were you that younger sibling, I'm going to get you, coming to get you? Were you aggressive, or were you, like what's that like as a young fella playing against blokes?
It's interesting. Like I'm thinking I'm going to go from like a WA point of view here, because I think I got first contracted 17 or 18 or something like that.
Right.
And coming up through JL, and like there were a few big dogs that were still around. Felt on the outside for a long time. I think what changes that, not on the outside, but I was quietly spoken, didn't drink, didn't, go out with the boys or anything like that. I think what changed that though is actually the experience of playing games. The more you play, the more you perform, the more respect you gain. I think that's just the way it naturally happened. And now I feel part of the group as much as anyone else. And now it was a welcoming group, but I think I was I was a bit of a bystander. Like I was quite anxious and just not a very out there person back then. But yeah, now it's like, I wouldn't say it's completely different, but it's a very welcoming group.
So talking about the Australian squad here, obviously, but so thinking back to when you're first involved in that, who are the guys that are sort of putting an arm around you and being like, it's all right, young fella? I'm sure there's lots of different characters in the room. The old blokes that are young, who's this little whippersnapper, and if you think back to guys that helped?
I was lucky enough to debut for Western Australia with Mitch Johnson inside, and he, you watch him on TV and he's like this big intimidating bloke that's going to come in and rip your head off, but he's a bit of a softie. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, like off the field, like he was awesome. Yeah. He was really good for me. And then in the Australian setup, like Starkey was a big one for me. I got the nickname Shadow because I spent a lot of time around Starkey. Like you, as that young guy, you want to learn, you want to absorb as much information as you can, and just almost find a friend in that setup. And he was a big one for me.
Shadow's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, there's worse nicknames than that to have.
No, there is, but the more that you despise a nickname, the more that you try and get away from it, the more it sticks. So it's stuck. Like I was in denial. I was in complete denial. I was like, nah, no chance. Like, we're just fast bowlers. Like, we're just hanging out.
Just best mates.
Yeah, whatever.
Just love each other.
But yeah, that sort of stuck. But obviously, I haven't been around that group for a little while. Hopefully, you get back there. But I mean, yeah, it was an interesting time coming through. And again, like I had only played 6 first-class games before I played for Australia. So it was a quick transition. So I felt like I didn't have a lot of leg to stand on with actually knowing a lot of the guys either. Hadn't played against them much, let alone played with them much.
Is that, so I always get the cricket terminology right, but is that, so your international debut was at T20 level, right? That was your first game for Australia?
That's right.
So is that the sort of space you're talking about, coming and playing for Australia for the first time?
Yeah, so I'm sort of speaking like introduction into Western Australia, like Mitch Johnson was really good. Introduction into Australian cricket, like Starkey, Glenn Maxwell, like those guys. The guys who are willing to joke around with a young fella, I reckon, are the ones that sort of not hold you in high regard, but they're the ones that are willing to sort of help you through.
Yeah, and can lead both ways a bit.
Do you feel sort of pressure to perform in front of them early then, especially if you're trying to like make your way? Are you trying to like, trainings and stuff, show them what you've got a bit?
Oh, it's not necessarily the players. I think you just naturally want to perform to the best of your ability. Like, especially when you're a young guy, new into the squad, you want to impress. First impressions are pretty important. So I think you just naturally work hard and do what you can to try and get a game.
Can you have so you speak about like how you perform and cricket for me looks a bit like consistency, right? And that means that feels like players would regard that at the highest point. If you can just consistently back up performances. But is there the other way around where like there can be moments where you can do something maybe in a big part of the game or, a big haul in like that? It's not about consistency, but it's like a big moment. Like, did you have any of those early where, you had to step up and you were able to, and that helps gain the respect like for a young fella? Or does that not happen? Does that not happen in cricket? Is it more about the consistency?
No, it does happen. It definitely does happen. Consistency is obviously the biggest part. The more consistent you can be, just naturally the better player you are.
Yeah.
The more games you're going to win for your team. In terms of big moments, nothing really jumps out at me. Like I said, I didn't really play that much before I debuted for Australia.
Yeah. So what's that like, debuting for Australia? Like, is that pinch yourself stuff? Like the first time, you must just be thinking, especially so early, or is it just a bit of a whirlwind and you're like, oh yeah, now I'm playing for Australia?
Mate, it's a whirlwind. Like it for me, it happened so quickly that it was, I'm trying to think of the right way to put it, because it wasn't normal. It didn't feel normal. It felt different, but I felt comfortable is not the right word either. It's like, felt ready for it.
Yep.
And I think I felt ready for it because everything happened so quickly. And I was like, oh, well, I'm just sort of going with it, like going with the wind. There's no point putting the brakes on because you kind of just go with the flow, which I guess helped because I think for guys that have grafted for 5, 6, 7 years to get a spot, I almost feel like there would be more pressure because it's been a bigger build-up, if that makes sense. There's been a longer time to think about it and prep for it and that sort of thing. So in a way, I guess it was good to debut so early, get it out of the way, because once you've played one, the rest of it becomes a bit more normalized. You know what to expect. You're prepared better, because I think the first one's always scary.
Yes. Always,
naturally, debut is always nerve-wracking.
Can you remember yours?
Yep. First, so T20 was in Geelong.
Shout out Geelong. I'm a Geelong boy.
First one was in Geelong. Played all right. And then my one-day debut was at the Gabba against England.
Yes.
And then test debut was also at the Gabba.
Correct.
Versus Sri Lanka.
So you went 2017, 2018, 2019. So Sri Lanka, T20, and then England, ODI, and then Sri Lanka test debut. Who gave you your baggy green?
It was, so T20 was Tubby. One day was Carl Ruckerman.
Great.
And the test was I can see his face. Let me come back to it.
Okay, great. Let him come back to it, Dan.
You come back to it.
It was the bowlologist,
Damon Fleming.
Flemmer.
Wow.
Great man.
Great man.
That's a good group.
Good group.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Mark Taylor, Carl Rackman, and Damien Fleming. Great. Can you remember words of wisdom, older guys? How does it all work?
Like cap debut, like cap presentation.
Yeah.
Everyone in a circle. Someone does a little spiel. Great work, mate. Like, keep doing what you've been doing to do what you've done to get here. And then, well done. Shake everyone's hand. Off you go.
Did you do anything special in that first test?
Not really special. Like, I remember, I bowled pretty well. I feel like I bowled pretty well. Pink ball test, like, it's a nice one to debut in. Ball swinging, fast gabble wicket, like, it was a nice one to debut in.
Really?
But I remember batting under lights. I was way more nervous batting than I was bowling.
I can imagine that'd be
always been the case because batting's like the second skill, right? It's like you'd be more nervous doing an interview speaking a second language than you would your first language.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I always get so nervous batting.
Really?
Always. Never. I say never, but rarely nervous bowling because it's what you've done your whole life.
Yeah.
But I remember batting and I like played the most horrific shot against a spinner. And Starkey was whacking him at the other end. Like he was pogoing him everywhere. And I'm like, I can do this to a spinner. I charged down the wicket, straight up the chimney. And I came off and I was like, why would I do that? Just, knock one, get Starkey or Starkey, pogo over 6. I was like, no, it's good for the game, And I think we ended up Pat took a wicket on the last ball of that night. To go into the next day.
Because you'd slogged
because
and got
I
out.
moved the game along. I
there you
progressed
go.
the game,
That's smart, man.
With batting as well, like you get one chance, like play one bad shot, you're out.
Of course.
And then with bowling, if you have a wide, no ball, whatever, you just all right, next one. You got so many opportunities to.
Jeez, you can get
make up for it.
infuriated with bowling though, because if it's not your day, you've got multiple overs that it's not working for you.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
100%. 100%.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, so as a batsman, it's not your day. It's just one and you're done. See ya.
one and done. See you later. Like you'll be peed off for a while. Don't get me wrong. Like it's frustrating getting out. But if you're not having a day bowling, you got to come back and do it again, and do it again, and get even more infuriated that you're not performing the way you want to.
Yeah. On days like that, though, if you've had a couple of overs and you think like, oh, just get me out of here. And they're just like, no, go back again. And you just like, please, just let me go square leg or something.
T20s, right? Like you could bowl your third over and the game's on the line. Bowl your third over, you're going none for 40 off your 3 overs, right?
Yeah.
And you're coming off trying to defend 8 off the last over, and you haven't executed a single ball that you want to all game, and you're like last over, pressure on. And you're just going there like, I'm none for 40. Like I could end up losing the game here. Like I haven't executed a ball that I want to the whole game. And you got to come in and roll in. Like that's tough work. That sucks.
Mitch, you're going to have to ask a question on that.
You're okay. Yeah, right. Talk us through playing, when you started playing at the Scorchers, getting to play for your home.
Yeah, let's talk Scorchers.
Home T20 team's pretty awesome. And what was your sort of memories of getting the call up and debuting with them?
Getting scorched.
Mate, I love the Scorchers.
Yes.
Oh, love the Scorchers.
You would have grown up supporting them effectively, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course. So debuted last game of the season against Melbourne Stars. Didn't take a wicket. Not a horrific game. Not a good game. And then there was a story that came out for the final. Might have even been the next year. Might have played like a game or two throughout the season. The next year we're in the final. And it was between Dorf and I. Dorf was injured, coming back and was available for the final. And I might have played like 1 or 2 games before that. And then JL, I remember JL came out with a story saying that he was meditating that morning and he got this vision that I was the one to play.
Kidding.
And I remember this story.
That's scary, man.
It'll be on the internet somewhere.
Yeah.
And I played
So
and got like 3 for 30, a run out and a catch or something, man of the final. Like, it was the most extraordinary thing ever. And I still, like thinking about it to that day for JL to be like meditating in the morning and have this epiphany of like Richo's playing, and then to perform, like it just was meant to be.
Does he claim that he actually, brought that into the universe? Like
100%, he would. Like, but that is something that he would do as well. Like, he's a powerful man.
What's he like as a coach?
Legend.
Yeah,
awesome. I really enjoyed working with him.
Yeah,
because someone like that, you can't. For me, and I'm not speaking for everyone, but for me, like he was someone that I felt like I had to be the best version of myself to actually, do well. Like he brought
and
the
earn
best,
his respect, right?
100%. He brought the best out of me. I think, like he was tough. Don't get me wrong, tough coach, but very, very good. Very, very good coach.
Yeah, we've spoken to a lot of guys that have been coached by JL. We've spoken to JL, and I've had a lot to do with him out of podcast land, and that's the impression I've always got of JL. Yeah, hard, tough, high standards. But for me, I was John Worsfold was my coach, right? And so he exactly the same cloth. Like you would rock up at training, and you knew you had to train well to play. And so some guys, that's pressure they didn't want. They wanted to rock up and roll through and do that. But I was the same as you, coach like that, where I was never scared of Woosha. Never scared me. Sometimes it did actually. But it was like the fear was performance-based. Like it was like, I need to play well, I need to train well, I need to get the best out of myself. That's what JL was, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, you just didn't want to disappoint him. Like you wanted to train hard, you wanted to put in everything you could, do everything you could. Because you didn't want to disappoint someone like that. That's all it was for me. Just didn't want to disappoint him.
Was that the final that you were just talking about, the one that you got clobbered in the face at the end?
No,
that's a different one.
That's a different one.
Tell us all about that.
That was funny. That was so I'd rolled in for like the semi and the final. Weird feeling, like just rolling in.
Always wondered that.
Weird feeling. Because it almost doesn't feel like, or I felt like I hadn't, earned the right to be there, to be picked ahead of someone who's played the whole season. Like that felt a bit foreign to me. But also it didn't feel like a final because I hadn't played the season. So it was a bit strange. And I think there was hardly any crowd there because it was COVID time and whatnot. So it was weird. But yeah, we all obviously, as you do, you win a final, you run in and whatnot. And then someone, I think it was Munners, I don't know, Colin Munro, I don't know for certain, but I kind of just blamed him anyway, running in from like deep square leg and like jumping on the pack. And I felt it. Whenever I get hit in the nose, it just starts bleeding. I don't know why. Just always been the case.
It's a bit of a pattern.
Maybe it was from the sweet chin music back in the day. Maybe
something.
Maybe I've just got a bit of like structural or something in there. Anyway, got hit in the nose and I was like, oh no, this is going to bleed. And it just felt like it was pouring out with blood, but it was a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And then
Which is fine.
Fine, no issue. And was going to wipe it off. And then they're like, no, leave it for the interview. So I ended up doing an interview with like, my nose is bleeding. It was.
I saw it earlier today, doing a bit of research. You're literally mid-interview, live TV. Who's got you? It's I'm bad with names sometimes as well. It's a good batter who's interviewing you, back in the day batter, who's interviewing and just looking at you. And you were just like, mate, you've got blood streaming down your face. It's in your mouth, through your teeth.
Perfect.
No attempt to wipe it off. Like you just
zero. I was going to. I was like, I need a towel or something. And then everyone's like, no, leave it. Like it'll be good. Yeah.
It's bloody good. So how many championships you won with the Scorchers?
3?
Yeah.
3.
Which is elite. And given you're a WA boy, you've been involved in all forms of cricket in Western Australia. We know what a powerhouse it's been over the last decade or more, really. Why?
Close group, honestly. Like the cohesion we've got in our group. And I think what we've done really well over the last 6, 7, 8 years is we've kept a lot of core players from our WA setup going into our Scorchers setup. Like we've utilised a lot of good domestic players, whereas some other teams have gone a different route and gone, let's get high-class internationals. I guess it's difficult for states who have multi teams, like Sydney and Melbourne, for example.
Yeah.
Like they've got to split across 2 teams. It makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've kept a really good, solid core group. And the advantage of that is, people know the expectations as well because they're in the program 12 months of the year. It's not like they're just coming in and trying to figure it out. Yeah. Everyone knows each other. Everyone knows the expectation. Everyone knows the program. Everyone knows what's going on. So
that's like when someone is added in. So is it Finn Allen? Finn Allen comes in.
Yeah.
He hasn't been involved, but there's this massive core group of players that's like, well, this is how we do it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what's expected.
Exactly right.
And he like pretty easily.
So he's got 20 blokes that'll help him through because everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He'll have 20 blokes helping him through rather than a lot of people from different areas sort of trying to find their own way before they can help someone else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason. Like just we always speak about Wacker family because we have such a close group of staff members, players, and external people that don't necessarily have anything to do with cricket at the Wacker. Like it is a big family. Like it's a great organisation.
That's really interesting.
Because it seems like on paper, the Scorchers often like punch above their weight a bit.
Yeah.
Like, when you see some of the stars and stuff in the teams, you're like, a lot of guys who are representing Australia at the time playing in all the squads. But yeah, that closeness obviously is worth more than just the names that come in.
I think our domestic players step up a lot as well. Like we have a lot of good contributions from our domestic players. We don't just rely on our big overseas players, which I guess takes pressure off them as well, like you've got some guys coming into a new group, they're probably feeling some pressure to perform.
Yeah.
But you've got our normal group of guys who are still going well and contributing where they can and helping with our success. So it probably makes it easier on them as well.
Where do you sit across all the forms? Like what for you personally, like where's your best cricket play? Where do you want to play the majority? Like how does that, and has that changed over your career?
I want to play Test cricket. Like I've had that little taste of it now, and I'm like, I want to get back there. I really want to get back to playing Test cricket. And so many people might be like, oh, well, it's just because the big guys are going to retire soon and blah, blah, blah. It's got nothing to do with that. Like I've always wanted to play Test cricket. And I felt like I'm still yet to prove myself in the red ball game. Even in Shield cricket, for example, like I haven't played a lot of 20-something first-class games. Like that's not enough for me. Like the drive's still there to play red ball cricket, which I'm aiming for this season as well. So,
other than the obvious, like what's the challenge there? Like being able to play multiple games.
Yeah.
Is it the body? Is it the mind? Is it the switching of mindset with how you're bowling? All of the above.
Format. I don't think you really lose your skill. Like as a bowler switching between formats, that for me is like more of a mental thing and preparation thing. It's body. It's 100% body. Like we've seen it over the last few years. I haven't been able to get through. So that is the challenge because I think, my drive is there to play red ball cricket. So if I can get back there, I feel like skill-wise, that'll be able to take care of itself. Like, you obviously have to believe that you're still good enough.
Yeah.
But I want to get there to be able to prove that to myself as well. Prove to myself that one, I can get through and prove to myself that two, I'm still good enough to do it.
How are those injury battles been? Both actually physically, but like more mentally? How have you coped with it?
It's been pretty up and down. There's a lot of we could go real deep into the mental health space if we wanted to. But it's tough. Like you obviously have a goal and you have an idea of where you want to be at a particular point in time. And, I'm 28 now and you sort of get to this age where you're like, I've either got to do it or, the time's ticking. You only play till you're 34. So... But yeah, we've made a few changes this year. I pretty much haven't stopped bowling since the IPL. Like I bowled through the IPL, which was March, April or something like that. Continued to bowl through the off-season, pre-season, just to try and get a bit of resilience. over the last 2 months, like I've tried hard to lose some weight, gain some muscle. Like looking back at the last couple of years, I haven't been physically probably fit enough. And I'm not talking like 2K of fit. I'm talking just like body fit.
Yeah.
Haven't been where I wanted to be. And that's again, like on the back of some mental health stuff that I was dealing with. But, you know, it's not necessarily an excuse. It happened. And now we're working hard to bring it back.
The body demands of a bowler, especially in red ball, is crazy. Like just running, especially if you're bowling a lot of overs, like it must be so taxing. Like if you're out there fielding for an entire day and you just, I don't know, 15 overs in, like you must just be cooked. I don't know, more than any other spot in the field.
15 overs is a light day.
Yeah,
honestly. What would what do footy players cover in a game?
Best runners 17 and a half.
Yep.
Sort of key position guys that are a bit more extremities, probably 13.
Yep. So we, like for a 1 day game, like I'd average between 15 and 17 Ks for the game. Shield game can be like up to 20 Ks.
Is that right?
For the day,
wow.
yeah.
And when you're bowling, you're not walking around the
Yeah. Like if you have a 20 over day, for example, like you're probably doing close to 20 Ks.
and decent click at like high speed efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So I think my run up's 23.5 K or about 23 K an hour.
Take it as deep as you like, but like on the mental side of things, like people see cricket as a team sport, right? Like, and it is. It's exactly what it is. But I feel like looking at you blokes, and you play across a lot of different teams. You're not in footy or rugby where they're just in one team and they just play there and you build relationships. Like you guys are across IPL and 3 different forms, and then you're playing state and you're playing local and you're playing international. Like, does there sometimes become like quite individual, like in what you're doing, even though it's a team sport?
Individual in the sense of like,
I mean, mentally.
Yeah, like people prepare differently. They do different things to help them with the game of cricket. And I think what we're fortunate about in our setup is that we've all earned the trust of one another. And that's what I talk about with this Wacker family. We all have trust in each other that whatever we do is going to work for that individual. So whether it's preparation, whether it's, like playing this game, playing that game, wherever you are in the world, like we can have the trust in that particular person to do what they need to do to best prepare. And that looks different for everyone. Just as an example, like we had a top-up training today for a game tomorrow. Some guys don't train at all. Some guys do heaps. Some guys just have a kick at a soccer ball or whatever. But we know that if that's how they want to prepare, then that's best for them.
Yes.
And we back that in 100%. And that's the same wherever you are around the world. So I think that helps as well. Like just knowing that wherever someone is, like we can trust them with that. And that helps with the integration back into our program as well.
So how important is getting away from cricket? I know we touched on it last time we chatted, but I'm keen to get a little bit more into the esports space. Like I was saying, when you travel, you're traveling with monitors. I was seeing you streaming across Twitch. You're a big dog in the esports game now. How don't roll your eyes. Well, you own a fucking team, mate. I'm just reporting. How I don't know, how important is it to get away from cricket? A lot of cricket going on.
So important.
Yeah.
Or are you playing cricket to get away from playing esports?
Maybe. Like
cricket secondary.
Like my missus will tell you, like I'm probably addicted to video games.
Yeah, absolute victim.
Well, it's part of your job.
Welcome to the team here, mate. I had to have my partner pull apart my PlayStation, hide the spots in different spots of the house.
She's so good though. Like she's awesome. Never been an issue. But she'll be like, mate, you're addicted. And so maybe you're right. Maybe it's cricket to get away from games. Yeah. Which is good. At least I'm doing something outside.
Yeah.
So what
exercise,
Yeah.
Some people will be listening and being like, "Oh, so you play video games? Good on you." But what do you play? Like,
it's like, so video games for me is like I can't sit and do nothing. Just can't. I just will not sit and watch a Netflix show, or I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So video games for me is a stimulating way to like kill time, and it's fun, and I'm competitive, and it'll always be playing with someone or playing against someone. Like it has to involve other people.
You're not solo. You're not solo missions.
I cannot do it.
Yeah.
Cannot just play through a campaign and be like, let me just try and kill this boss 30 times. Can't do it, mate. Like, I'm going to be as competitive as I possibly can against anyone around the world. That's what it is for me. It's like, come home from cricket being competitive all day. I'm going to jump straight on games. And
so what are we talking? We're talking locking into the gaming chair, you got the full setup.
I'm on.
Mike, we're talking. We got the squad.
Do not talk to me.
Like, we got the squad.
There's been
are we like, boys, we're on.
There's been times where I've been like locked in my headset. I'm like, come on. And then Mrs. has had to. So Discord is like a team speaker app where you like can jump in.
Love Discord.
Big gamer.
Yeah,
Discord.
love
Yeah,
Discord.
right.
Yeah.
Mrs. will jump in Discord. Jhye, dinner's ready, mate.
She's
No.
jumping in the chat. Great.
I'm like, oh, sorry.
That's great.
If my phone's like face down on the table, if I'm away, she'll like message me on Discord, be like, "You all good?" Then I'll reply straight away.
Hey, babe, great. Going well.
All good, thanks. Just playing video games.
Go on, give him some gaming questions. You'd be interested.
Oh, so I saw Rocket League.
Rocket League. Yep.
Is that one of the main ones?
That's one of the main ones. Unfortunately, I've gone down the rabbit hole of League of Legends now because of our we've got a League of Legends team for Ground Zero. So followed them, and then that's a dark rabbit hole.
What's League of Legends? What's Ground Zero? What all these things you boys are talking about?
League of Legends would be one of the nerdier super nerds play.
A lot of like
No, I'm a massive.
A lot of like
clicking. So much
a lot of input per minute. Like very strategic,
talking like Age of Empires type operation here.
Yeah, sort of like above
you,
a bit of clicking, you're casting things.
Hundreds of different champions that have different abilities and different team compositions that work together, and some don't. And you got counter picks to this champion and that champion.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah,
time's up. Time to go.
when you watch like League of Legends tournaments on like YouTube or whatever, it just looks like a blur of things going on, and the crowd's going crazy. The commentators are going. It's huge. Like it's so, but like as like a casual person watching these like League of Legends,
wouldn't have a clue.
But you're not a casual. But you have ownership, part ownership, full ownership of a esports gaming, Ground Zero Gaming.
Ground Zero Gaming. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there leagues and stuff that your team's playing in?
Essentially, what Ground Zero Gaming is like Perth Scorchers. So, in the sense that we employ players to play for our organisation.
Right.
Much like the Scorchers do. So the titles, like we have a League of Legends team, we have a Rocket League team, we have Pokemon Unite team.
COD, FIFA.
COD, FIFA.
Oh, sorry.
COD community is a bit
jockey.
As respectfully as possible. A little bit toxic for like where we want to take Ground Zero. Because we do a lot of, so with Ground Zero as well, we do a lot of partnerships with like shopping centers and stuff. We do a lot of activations. Right. So for us to promote a game like Call of Duty is probably not where we want to go.
Yeah, when you're in the lobby and you've got people saying the N-word at you and stuff like that.
We wouldn't market Call of Duty to a shopping center being like, hey, bring your kids down and try Call of Duty. Like
that's actually interesting.
That's just not the way. So we do a lot of that stuff with Rocket League because again, it's a kid-friendly game. Like it's easy to learn, easy to pick up. So we do, I guess, workshops you could say, or activations with a lot of shopping centers during school holidays to bring your kids down. And
West Australian based
so far. Right.
And so the guys that you bring on and you contract them, is that enough money for them to like work part-time and do that or full-time?
Most of the guys, so like a lot of our League of Legends team, for example, they have side hustles, so they do like coaching on the side. They like
do e-gaming coaching.
Yeah, right. So like coaching for League of Legends.
Yeah.
Which we don't take any of that off them. Like that's their thing that they're going to do. Rocket League's a little bit different because the age demographic is quite a bit younger. So we're talking like 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds who are still going through school, not working. It's pretty good wage for them. Like if they're top of the region, like it's a pretty decent wage.
Better than doing Nightfield or something.
Is that like prime time for a gamer? And for people listening that don't know anything about gaming, and I know a small amount, but e-gaming is the fastest growing sport in the world, I believe.
Yeah,
Close
it
to
would
it?
be pretty close to, yeah.
So, what was playing on your PlayStation at home 20 years ago? It's very different now.
Very different.
They've been talking about doing like proper Olympics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
we've had
huge following.
we've had Ground Zero representatives represent Australia.
Huge.
So that's amazing. So, is it 15 or 18 that is, or is
Depends on the game.
Right.
Yeah. So Rocket League demographics quite young. Like the oldest player you might see is like 22, 23.
It's car soccer for those that don't know what Rocket League
car
is.
soccer basically. Sounds simple, but it's quite a mechanical game.
Yes.
Easy to learn, hard to master. League of Legends age demographic slightly older, bit more mature game. Like not as much. I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't know what it is with Rocket League, but it seems you just fall off. Like you get to an age and you're great, and then 6 months later you're just no good. Right. I don't know why that is.
I feel like it's the.
But then I feel like with Counter-Strike, League of Legends, et cetera, like you're kind of better for longer. I don't know why. Right. That's just the way it is.
When you get old, you get slower on the fingers.
Has to
like,
be.
I've seen like the kids that play Rocket League that are incredible at it are like, I have no clue how they're doing what they're doing. Doesn't make sense.
So, bring it back to cricket. Is there any guys? No, but like still in gaming.
Yeah.
But is any guys joining in from a cricket perspective?
Casually. Yeah. No one.
So you're the best gamer. You're the best gamer.
Well, ironically, like I'm not that good.
Perfect.
For how much I play.
But
again, like I'm 28. I'm out of prime age. Like I'm too old. I'm past it.
Yeah, see, that's
what
my
wife.
sport.
I mean, I'm 34. My wife would. I'm like the bunny in the group of my friends that play games. I'm always the worst.
Yeah, we're
always the one that's being
that's,
dragged.
That's my excuse anyway. Just past it.
So, what does the future, and I mean immediate future, the next 12 months? What do you want it to look like? What do you think it can look like? What's it going to look like?
I'd love for my business partner to go full time on it.
Right.
Like I think that would be the biggest step for us. Like potentially some opportunities in Asia, like just some things like continuing with our activations and stuff. Like I think that would be good. Eventually, like a physical premises would be really cool as well. Have like a Ground Zero headquarters, that would be pretty cool.
Sick.
But for my business partner to go full time would make the biggest difference because he's working full time as it is, and then spending 20 or 30 hours on Ground Zero as a side hustle. Like for him to go full time would be big, and just be able to engage more with brands and stuff like that, I think would be really cool.
Your BackChat gaming division.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it would be bad because it's just me and Jaiden at the moment who would play, and we're both no good.
I'm better than both you at FIFA.
Yeah, that's true.
I am. So.
I just don't play enough. I don't play enough FIFA. I have enough skills to play a game, but I'm not good enough to know how to win.
I've got to finish off on cricket. I want to ask about the IPL, just that whole experience.
Yep.
What's that like? What? I feel like it looks like another world, really.
It's another world.
Yeah.
It's it's quite volatile.
What do you mean?
Well, like you can feel like you're going over there in a good place, and then then you might not play.
Right.
That's just the reality. Like you get picked up. I played one game last year. Used it as a bit of a training camp. Like for me, it was actually really good. Like I used it. My idea of going to the IPL as soon as I knew that I wasn't going to play as much. Just the nature of how our team worked. We played 3 Indian seamers. So we had like myself, Anrik Nokia, and a couple others on the sidelines, like fighting for one spot that wasn't really available. So as soon as that sort of came around, like my mentality shifted to use it as training prep and like get as much out of it as I can with the conditions, et cetera, et cetera. So that changed a little bit, but just volatile. I mean, like you could play one game and then not play the next. That's just the way it works. Team balance. Like there's a lot of conversations going on. The actual cricket it's hectic, man. Like it is really hectic, especially last year. Like we played Delhi, our Delhi home ground. Like the average bat first score was like 220 or something. Huh. Like it was just silly. It's crazy. Did not want to be a bowler. But part of that is, you learn, like you adapt and you try and, the expectation, what's going to happen. They're probably going to hit you for 200, but what can you do about it?
Yeah.
And that's another challenge in itself. And then you come back here and you play T20 and you get hit for 160 and you're like, how good is this? We'll get hit for 180 and you're like, jeez, boys, this is winnable.
What was the first time you got picked up in the IPL?
When?
Yeah, like it seems like such a strange.
4 years ago, 5 years ago,
It's
something.
like, the auction goes and suddenly your name's getting rung out and there's people bidding for you. Like, that must be loads.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting concept. You're sort of sitting back waiting for your name to come out and you're like, the room's silent for like 30 seconds while they're bidding and it's weird.
All right, so they read your name.
Read your name out and then you watch it on TV and all the owners and the coaches and stuff are sitting on their table of Punjab Kings and Delhi Capitals.
Did you get a little
and
bidding war for Jhye Richardson?
There was a little one last year. The year before I went to Mumbai, but didn't go because I was injured. They put their hand up straight away. So the first year that I went to Punjab, like no one bid.
Perfect.
And it was like the last second where a team bid and then there was like a bit of a war and stuff. So that was like, I was like, oh my gosh, no one's going to bid for me. And then last second was like, yes.
Right.
The next year, Mumbai, like they were up straight away and I was like, come on, like another team, please. But so it was completely different. First one was last second. Next year was straight away. And I was like, straight away has got to be good because then teams will go. Nothing. So went to Mumbai, but didn't go because I was injured. And then same sort of thing last year, like a bit of a, we want you.
Yes.
But it's
hectic.
We were watching TV and it's like you're trying to do the calculations on Google. You're like Indian rupees to AUD. And you're like, what's going on here? And it's hard to keep track of, but
180 million rupee. Holy shit.
It's hard to keep track of, but it's a good experience.
Do you use that experience for, obviously you want to play for Australia. It's really hard to play in India. Are you thinking about that while you're over there? Like these are just reps while I'm there?
Yeah, like you come back to Australia feeling like you're a better player for your experience over there, I feel. Because the wickets are so flat. So you have to change the way that you bowl. And then you come back here and you see the wicket do a bit and you're like, geez, I'm a good bowler. Like,
swinging.
This is the best. Yeah, like this is swinging, it's nipping, it's good. So it's like it almost simplifies everything over there because the wickets are so flat. Like your margin for error is tiny. So it simplifies everything in the sense that if you're bowling a Yorker, like you got to hit your Yorker or you're going for 4. You want to bowl top of the stumps, you got to hit top of the stumps, otherwise you're going for 6. You want to bowl a bouncer,
no room for error.
It's got to be on the money. So it really makes you hone in on your skill. Otherwise, you just go on the journey.
Last one from us. What cricket-wise aspirations next 12 months? What's it look like for you? What do you
Test cricket, mate. Test cricket. Good. That's the goal. Got to get back there. Obviously, got to get back to playing red ball cricket for WA first, but we're getting there.
Okay, good. Great. I expect you to have a baggy green on your head next time you're in here then. If that's fine. Happy with that? Yep, great, thanks.
I mean, I could bring it in. Whether or not I've played for Australia again, I don't know. But
that's not what happens. You just roll around in your baggy green. Mate, that's enough from Dan and I appreciate you answering all of our questions. We've got a couple more for you.
Yes.
It's time for social media. That's right. I thought you might like that one, Jhye. Don't get too excited. Not social, social, where we get the people to ask you the questions. And look, there's some great ones here. Hoppy Endings is going to kick us off.
Take us through your garage, Richo. What cars have you got at the moment and what has been your favourite?
Good question. So I will go through the cars that I've owned and then currently.
Great.
My first car was a Ford Focus ST. I got my license quite late, so I had a few more years to save up for a nice first car.
Okay.
Changed. I was full like hot hatch phase. So I went Focus ST to a Focus RS, which was just an upgrade.
You're talking to two guys here. I couldn't even tell you what's under
Dan?
BYD Seal.
BYD Shark soon.
Building his dreams.
So like hot hatch, just like fast little rally car.
Yeah.
Focus RS, sold that. Bought another Focus RS, which ironically was older.
Okay.
And then sold that. Bought a Mercedes. Had quite a nice contract. The IPL.
Little bump.
Bought myself a nice Mercedes.
I was bidding more. Got the rupee. Got the calculation proper.
It was a C63, so I was like, big V8. I was like, oh, geez, I feel sophisticated. Like I feel like I'm.
You're a man.
I went from a little boy toy Focus RS, little rally spec, to a sophisticated Mercedes, and I was like,
nice.
geez, I'm grown up here, boys.
Telling that to yourself in your head.
Yeah, I was, but I clapped it out. It was like super loud. It was crazy. Had that for a while. Bought a stupid like wide body Mitsubishi Evo, 1,000,000 horsepower, like dumb, just silly fast. Sold that. Sold the Mercedes. Bought a BMW, which I'm driving currently, M3.
Is that a bit of a thing? You like going from Merc to BMW? Like, is that a bit of a, I used to go to Collingwood.
Not for me. Okay. Not for me. BMW M3 now, and sold the Evo and decided to buy a Skyline R32 GTR, which is one of those, which is in the shed. Yeah, of course. You have to. JDM, like you have to make it.
Great.
You have to make it full rice.
NOS,
right?
I'm just thinking.
No NOS.
Honestly, just thinking like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. I bought that as people go, how can you invest in a car? It's going to lose money. But that was for me to like stick in the shed and keep it for ages.
So happiness investment.
Right.
Take it out on the weekend, have a bit of fun.
Drag race for your kids.
Yeah, a few Commodores.
Does it have the lights underneath? What are they called? Neons?
Neons, no.
Oh.
I have explored the option.
Yeah, please get them.
Why not?
You're a proper
Bring
car
neons
guy.
back.
Yeah.
I don't like mechanically. I don't know a lot about cars, but I just love cars.
I reckon you got like black ice tree in your car.
I don't.
One of those guys.
I don't. Fluffy dice.
Yeah.
Put that in the
bullet.
BYD.
The bullet like valve caps as well.
Yeah.
No, not quite.
That's very good. Kind of similar. Geordie Barrett.
Do you prefer RDR2 or GTA 5? Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 5?
I haven't played a lot of either of them, to be honest.
Right.
Again, because I'm not a single player. I know they've got multiplayer, but I'm not a single player guy. Yeah. I'd probably played a bit of Red Dead, so probably play Red Dead.
Just for clarity, do you think they were cars?
No, I know what GTA 5 is.
Right. Okay. That's right.
Calm down. Complete idiot.
Nice, mate.
Camo Cox.
Does he enjoy phone calls that go, yes, correct, Jhye? No, it's spelled Jhye.
I think
Strange,
he's
yes.
Perhaps suggesting that your first
the
name
way that you have to
strange.
spell your name.
Didn't have a choice, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, but he's asking, like, do you enjoy being like, yeah, it's Jhye, and then you have to be like, yeah, no, it's JH. Like
coffee orders, just that's Jhye.
Okay, coffee order, like I never use Jhye.
Is that right?
Just because it's too hard.
Great.
It's too hard, mate.
Ryan.
What do
Sure.
Josh.
That's
yes. Yes.
So probably like someone who's like if a barista or whatever's recognised me and gone, oh, this is Jhye, and I'm like, oh, it's Josh.
Yeah.
But it's not because you're being a flogger, man. Like, oh, Jhye Richardson here. You're like, I can't be bothered explaining.
No, I can't, because every time I explain my name or go like, it's Jhye, JHYE, they're like, wow, that's strange. I'm like,
tell me about
it. I didn't have a choice. Like, I'm
Great
sorry.
time.
It's like my parents. I like, mum and dad, what are you doing?
Coffee, please.
Do you have those sort of chats about, like, Dan?
No, but for Const, I do. They're like, Const? What? Const. CONST.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, good.
Saxon.
We've heard from Saxon.
Oh, yeah.
I was just having a little look through here. This is from Scotty MC. Biggest dinger you've been hit for. Who's hit?
There's Ben Cutting at Optus Stadium. I bowled one on his hip, and I swear that thing went 200 metres. I reckon, I don't know.
It's a big ball, Ben Cutting.
Is that last season?
We'd have to try and find the video and clip it in
Oh, we'll
somewhere.
find it. Don't worry, we'll be fine.
It is huge.
When was it?
Big Bash sometime.
What's that like? What's that like as a bowler?
Sucks, man. Because you know it's going to come up in conversation at a later date as well. You're like, oh, mate, remember that one?
Yeah.
No one's going, oh, mate, that fourth ball that just like deviated off the line a little bit.
Yeah,
Like that
no
was a
one's
great
doing
ball.
that.
Like that went to the keeper. Like, great job, Jhye. Like, it was
Everyone's
actually
going, remember that six that Ben Cutting hit you for? It was enormous.
You could have gone 6 foot. No one would care. I just want to talk about the one.
Yeah.
You bowled 56
It's like how many
balls.
times is that one that Chris Lynn hit off Sean Tate?
Yeah.
How many
On the
times has
roof.
that popped up again?
It's quite big. I think we asked him about it. Yeah, correct. Should get the wild thing on. Mate, last question from the Eggman.
How do you like your eggs?
Ooh. Little scrambled number?
Scrambled.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Little chili scrambled. Could I
I like a
tempt
little
you
chili
with?
cheese scramble.
I reckon I've delivered you a scrambled egg.
Excuse me? Was it to
I worked
Josh or
no,
Jhye?
No, for Jhye. I remember working at a cafe and you sat there. I think I gave you breakfast.
Miss my gay like
cafe?
Josh. He call himself Josh.
Sorry.
Cafes, right?
Tablespoon Bayswater. You went there. Yeah, I remember.
How long ago are we talking?
2016, 17.
Right, so 10 years ago, and you're asking him if he remembers you.
No, I didn't ask him. I just reminding him.
Mate,
Okay.
chili scrambled cheese.
No, I'm gonna throw one out here.
Great, thanks.
I'm a sucker for a curried egg.
That's so rogue.
Curried egg sandwich. You've never had a curried egg sandwich?
That's so
honestly
rank.
would throw it up. Where you know, so
You
like
should have kept that one.
the best example is like in the media box at footy, right? They bring sandwiches every time, and there's the ham and cheese, there's the chicken,
Bit of chicken
salad,
avo.
there's the fucking salami like continental, and then there's the fucking curried egg, and
Curried egg's gun, mate.
without fail, there'll be the one bloke with fucking 10 curried eggs.
Mound of them.
Oh yes, I can't believe this.
That's me. Every time on the golf course, curried egg sandwich.
Good golfer.
Steady.
Got a
Can hit.
hand out? You got a handicap?
Yeah, like 12 or something.
Okay.
Oh, not bad.
That's us done and dusted. BackChat double underscore.
Wait.
Okay, great.
Back on the curried egg. No, seriously. But this is
good.
like
You want to defend yourself now. This is good.
no. It's back on the curried egg theme, but not curried egg. Spearmint milk.
Oh, right.
Please settle this debate for me. And you're a Melbourne boy, so you don't really have it over there. So
No, they kind of call it like, they don't really
You're
call
like
it spearmint.
lime
They
milk
call
or
it like
something.
lime or like I might even throw a peppermint out there. Like it's
No,
sorry.
no. You guys have lime milk. I know that for sure. You don't
Look.
have spearmint milk though.
So at West Coast, for a long time, one of their major sponsors was Masters Milk.
Yep.
And every Monday, they used to stock a giant display fridge of Masters, like
Perfect.
every flavour.
Spearmint milk.
So I feel like I've actually done the tests here to know of a group of 45 people our age, like what is the best? Strawberry would be gone first.
Strawberry's good. That's fine, but that's not the question.
Chocolate, which is vanilla, like it's just everyone loves a chocolate milk. There's not many better. Chocolate milk would be second. Banana would quite often beat spearmint out the door, and spearmint would be a long, long way last.
It's right.
But once like curried eggs, there's the bloke that fucking gets the six spearmints.
I'm
and
the
just
bloke
goes,
with the curried egg sandwich and the spearmint milk. Because to be fair, the physio's a Sydney boy at the Wacker.
Okay.
And he's like, nah, spearmint milk, disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, mate, spearmint milk.
This debate could go rampant on our Friday show.
But also, would you go, okay, sorry, I'm dragging on.
No,
here.
it's fine.
No, what you are doing, you're going to have to join us on our Friday session because on Fridays we talk about all sorts of things like this.
Yeah, but would you go a choc mint,
Choc mint?
like a choc mint choc chip ice cream?
Oh, right.
Would I have one?
Yeah.
I'd eat it. Would I choose it? No. No.
If someone here eat this,
If
you're
someone
like,
said like, here's an ice cream, like, yeah, no worries. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, disgusting, like you've done with the curried egg.
yeah, well, ice cream's disgusting.
But if I had a nice little like, what did you say?
He said
ice
ice cream is
cream's
disgusting.
rank. It's
Look,
rank.
sometimes I don't know what to do with
It's
you,
actually our
Const.
time.
I don't,
Give me a
I don't know what to do.
I'm actually apologizing for dragging this on because now I want to go.
Honestly, we should have started with this. It would have been way better. Paywise brings us to the podcast. We're going to say a big thank you to the Scorchers.
Of course.
Make sure you go and get your tickets. December 15 is day one. We'll be there.
Yes, of course.
Jhye will be there. Don't worry about that. ID Athletic, Whippersnapper Whisky, Mamba Digital, TABtouch, Shelter Brewing Co, Leadville Precinct, as well as West End Plumbing and our good friends at
Rut roll.
I'm missing someone off.
No, I reckon you nailed it.
Good day to you all. Thanks for coming. Did you have fun?
Great fun. Love that.
Thank you.